Welcome, listeners, to the podcast that's the business equivalent of trying to put together IKEA furniture without the instruction manual. Yeah, you might end up with an extra few screws, but hey, that's innovation for you, right? So trust the process. In a world that changes faster than you can say, wait, TikTok just isn't for teenagers anymore? We're here to be your much needed GPS on the winding, unpredictable, and often pothole-filled road of business development. So grab your suit, your coffee, or let's be honest, your whiskey, and get ready for a roller coaster ride through the land of strategy, adaptability, and the occasional corporate buzzword. Now, on to the serious stuff. Business development, a career and an industry as diverse as it ever is changing. And so on for our usual intro. So stay tuned, and remember, if you're not laughing while trying to navigate the chaos of business development, you're probably doing it wrong. Welcome to the Industry Sweep, presented by the one and the only Keanu Reeves lookalike alive today, Linus. Hello, everyone!
Alright, Eric, thank you for that beautiful introduction. And now to talk about business development. An industry that's ever-changing, characterized by a need for adaptability, problem-solving, and strategy. Its professionals must cross the many frontiers of current and emerging trends in order to stay relevant and successful in large spectrum of businesses they find themselves in. Now their titles might change, just as much as the environment around them, but change itself is the driving force behind the work that they do. The constant need for evolution in business is not always comfortable, but it's up to the people to set a suitable pace to minimize the risk of the ship running aground. A white-collar tightrope act. The true innovators in the industry know that success comes from a careful balance of methodology and vision. Now in this podcast, we'll be exploring the minds of two industry professionals, diving into their stories, experiences, and career paths with the aim of getting a better grasp of business development industry, both as a whole, but also how to navigate it. Now, which qualities does one need to possess, and what does the future of the role look like? As a business development is a job that exists within every field of work, we chose today to keep our guests and talks more about the abstract part of the industry. And you already got to hear speakers talk a lot about the tangible part of the industry. But today, you're gonna get a whole new perspective of business development. Stick around and find out. And welcome everyone to the Industry Sweep. Alright, I was thinking about just kickstarting it a bit lightly here by you introducing yourself and who you are and what you're doing.
Okay, so I'm Mariana Treigher. First of all, I'm Brazilian. I'm a mom. I love social change. And today I work as digital marketing director at Hyper Island. But I would say that I have like multiple interests and a diverse background in my backpack. So yeah, it's hard sometimes to define in one thing.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. So, talking a little bit about your experience and what you're doing now, is there like any special qualities that have helped you along the way to get where you are now?
Yes, I would say like one that really stands out is actually the power of reflection. And it is something that I've learned at Hyper Island. I'm an alumni from the Business Developer Program. And I would say many people, they think they reflect. But if you think about the actual, ceremony and the ritual around proper reflection, when you write down a piece of paper and you have some guiding questions that are very powerful, you can really understand what's happening, in your life and draw conclusions and key learnings that you can apply. So when a situation happens, for me, it's so good to sit down and reflect like, okay, what happened? How did this impacted me? how do I feel about it? What need was met or not met? And what are the key learnings that I have, that next time something like this happen, how would I like to act, in that situation? And that has helped me to keep improving and build some sort of like self-leadership, because situations and challenges will always happen, but the way that I react to them, it's just on my responsibility to take care of. So I was a very explosive person, reacting very fast and thinking that, oh, my idea is the best, I have all the answers. So there was so many things in me that was holding me back to grow, professionally, but also relationships, friendships. And by doing reflection, I could really, shape my personality in a way that, okay, I still feel confident about my knowledge and I have a lot of ideas, but I listen to people first before I give my idea, for example. And this came through like a lot of reflections, understanding myself and trying different approaches when a similar situation comes.
All right, very cool. So to just summarize a bit, the tool that's been useful for you is reflection, and it's helped you
Yes.
to develop listening and self-leadership.
Yes, I would say that
Very
it's
cool.
beyond a tool, it's a superpower that we all have,
I
but
like that,
just
yeah.
a few are using,
Right. We're getting started with that as well. And maybe
Nice.
that could be like a trend to come for business developers. Wow. Thank you so much, Marie, for an inspirational talk with focus on collaborating and reflecting. Next up, we're going to talk with Iñaki. It's going to be a very creative talk about trends and a new perspective on business development. Stick around and find out. I was thinking if we could just start by briefly talking about you and who you are and what you're doing, and that's okay.
Absolutely. So I'm Iñaki Escudero. I live in the US. I've been here for 33 years, originally from Madrid, Spain, but I've always been very curious. So when I was in Madrid, I was curious about living here. And now that I'm here, I'm curious about going back to Europe. So that's kind of the way my mind works. That curiosity leads me to try different experiments and things. I think learning is our great superpower. So being constantly learning helps me feel that I'm using that superpower every day. I mean, what's the point of having a superpower if you don't get to use it, right?
Right.
So I try to push myself to do things that I don't think initially I'm capable of, like reading a book per day, per week. And I've been doing that for 13 years. Running marathons, I finished 29, but every time I finish one, I can't believe it. It's like, wow, you can finish a marathon. That's amazing. So just I reward myself with challenges and to test myself on whether or not I can accomplish them. And as I said, learning is one of them, and I push myself to learn something new.
Trends. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about trends that's ongoing right now and upcoming trends that you might be able to see.
Yeah. I define trends as change, right? What's changing? If it's not changing, it's not a trend. We just notice now. So AI is not a trend. AI has been around for 20 years. It's been behind the scenes or in front of the scenes through Amazon Alexa and chatbots on customer services websites. We just never noticed because either it wasn't very smart or it wasn't really doing a great job for us. Now with ChatGPT, we are noticing AI, but AI as itself is not a trend. What is a trend is that people found value in it, and there is a significant difference between one and the other. So AI as technology is not a trend. Humans wanted to incorporate AI in their lives is a trend, and that is fun because when people embrace new technology for their own entertainment or playing, or how can I apply this to make my life a little bit easier, that's when it gets fun, right? So technology has been always around, and we are going to talk about this in our class, but because I speak about exponential technologies, technology has been around for a long time. The boom of technology and the exploration of technology to be applied to human life has been around since the 60s in a way that is meaningful. So that's about 60, 70 years of people working, putting the long hours in the dark, nobody knows about it, to the point where now you have such a large database of content accessible to a program, software, an algorithm, that algorithm can do things that seems like magic, right? 10 years ago, maybe they had access to Wikipedia. Now they have access to 1 million times Wikipedia, and that's when it gets fun. But we have to be patient, and sometimes we are not willing to be patient. So in terms of trends, I will say I like to pay attention to what's changing. In this case, I get paid to identify trends in travel, for example, in how consumers are expecting or how hotels can provide services to travelers in a way that addresses trends, right? So if you want to really go far into the future, a trend will be that people are sick and tired of having to pay for their luggage or have to carry their luggage. Even if we put wheels in luggage, which took a long time, by the way, people are tired of it. So what if your destination, your hotel, provides that wardrobe for you, so you don't have to carry it with you? How do they do it? They do it by printing the material. As soon as you arrive, you have a selection of wardrobe to choose, and then you step into a machine, and the machine prints whatever you need to wear on top of your body. That the trend is people are getting tired of dealing with the more bothersome aspects of traveling, because traveling is getting very easy, right? But when you go to check out of Ryanair or one of those cheap airlines, they charge you for luggage, they charge you for seats, and that's becoming annoying. So I don't want to carry with me anything, just including the price of the hotel room, $50 for clothes, so I don't have to deal with it. And they are disposable, okay? And this is the line I was telling you about. If they are disposable, isn't that unethical in terms of disposing clothes all the time? As a business opportunity for a hotel, sounds like a great idea, right?
Right.
As a business developer, I think you are doing a great job understanding human trends, market trends, and offering a solution. It could really represent a lot of revenue for a hotel chain to start that business. What do you do with the clothes? So that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. You need to think in systems, so you can provide value also with the disposable of disposing the clothes to provide value to somebody else. And now all of a sudden your idea grows exponentially to add value to many different parts of the system, not just the hotel.
Right. I love how you separated and talked about, as a business developer, that's a great idea, but in an ethical matter, it's another question. That is awesome. And also, I think we got some of the best valued advice from you now, because everyone is talking about AI as a trend. You said trends are a change, and AI is not the trend, but the value in AI is the trend. And that's amazing. Thank you for that advice. I'll try and move on a little bit. It was super interesting. I want to talk more about it, but I'll move on a little bit. I was wondering if you could talk about different fields as a business developer, and what field you think a business developer could succeed in the most.
What do you mean by field?
Like industry, like tech, or
Yeah. I think technology is a good friend for a business developer. I think understanding how technology works and the ways in which the technology adds value by helping things be easier, right? So I'm working with a company that is in the business of teaching languages. Duolingo learning a language. And in the explanation of the business, the founder speaks about how learning a language is traditionally expensive and not accessible to many people all over the world. So he has created a business that makes learning a language accessible. I think we all can agree that that's a very, very good idea, right? And for what I know, I have used Duolingo to learn Portuguese. I have used Duolingo to learn Japanese. It's one of those experiments I was telling you at the beginning. Could I spend 6 months learning Japanese and actually learn Japanese and speak it? So I was doing really well for 4 months, and then I realized that my growth has stopped. That I went from 0 to 10 very fast, but from 10 to 12 it was very slow. Because I'm in Austin, Texas. What chances do I have of practicing Japanese?
Right.
My kids didn't want to know anything about it, so I stopped. So the thing is, Duolingo is a great application of technology for a great cause, the democratization of learning a language. But is it effective? Does it actually teach you a language? I think that's, to answer your question, the application of business development to Duolingo would be not in the idea itself. The application of the technology to democratize learning a language is business development. But I will go a little bit further. Are we really teaching a language, or are we giving people a false sense of access to learning a language? And I will ask myself, look, as Nike, I can build the shoes. It's up to you become the athlete. So I can build the ecosystem. It really is up to you to learn a second language by putting the work every single day, right? So I think as a business developer, you need to be willing to ask the right questions and the tough questions to yourself and to others to make yourself persuasive that they want to have these conversations with you and have an honest conversation about whether or not those answers are relevant. And that comes from curiosity, really. So any field needs a contrarian mind that forces me to ask the tough questions. Any field.
So what you're saying is you're kind of providing opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not saying you're going to be this, but you're giving them the opportunity of doing something.
Yeah. Yeah, I think as a business developer, you the best you can do is to provide opportunities. The decision is not ultimately yours, but you provide interesting opportunities to people for growth.
Wow, great advice. So
Very
great
good.
advice. This talk has been so inspirational. You've given me so much insight, and I think our whole class are going to be so grateful for this.
I'm grateful you asked, and happy to be here. Looking forward to having you in
for
class,
joining us today
in December,
on the enriching episode of the Industry Sweep. We're truly grateful to have had the opportunity to sit down and chat with leading experts Iñaki Escudero and Mariana Treigher. Join us next time as we continue to explore the ever-evolving world of business development. Until then, keep innovating and stay ahead of the curve. This has been the Industry Sweep, signing off.